All right, so the opposite of the intersection is the union type. And it looks very similar to the logical OR operator, except instead of 2 bars, it's 1 bar. Um, and it's the functional equivalent of saying OR in TypeScript. So I've defined 2 interfaces for us here. We've got an interface for a dog and an interface for a cat. So let's say we wanted to create a pet type. We could combine those two together and say our pet is either going to be a dog or a cat. So if we say pet equals dog or cat. Um, I think looking at this logically, most of you are going to understand what's going on here. Like, yeah, there's not too much magic. However, when we start using intersection types, or sorry, union types in practice, it does become quite complicated and a little different to what we're used to than what we're used to in JavaScript. Since we're specifying something as a pet, we need to explore narrowing that type. So we know exactly, is this a pet with this property or is this a pet with this property? We're not going to go too deep into that in this course, and I would encourage you to explore discriminated unions and narrowing union types on your own after that. You can find that in the TypeScript handbook under advanced types. However, the use case you are more commonly going to see that today when we're dealing with just simple stuff is kind of what we've seen in the use state hook already. So if I remove the default value here and I specify a generic, use state is smart enough to realize that this can be the value string or undefined. So what we're going to be forced to do in TypeScript is we're going to be forced to handle those two cases, the string or undefined, which we're quite familiar with because we already are used to doing that sort of null and undefined checking. The same is true when we're writing a optional function. So if we create a function here called get user name, and that takes a name which is optional and of type string, and we hover over that, we can see name is either string or undefined. So you would simply handle those cases where you need to. That's as much as we're going to get into union types in this course. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the exercises for the final lesson, lesson 5.